Gotta do this right, guys. I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, friend of Captain Solo. Sorry, guys, I've been gone a long time. I was doing a couple other shows, and usually when I get to doing my show, I usually the days I do it, I haven't been feeling so great. But I'm gonna try to do these more often and not have breaks. uh, and just be able to make these videos for you guys. So here I am, Drew Danger, back on the scene, representing Return of the Jedi. Let's see if I can get this. There's original movie poster. And then here is Luke Skywalker himself in Return of the Jedi. And he's also, of course, on my hat on the speeder bike. Um, for those of you guys that don't know, I think I've expressed it. The original Star Wars trilogy, original three movies are my favorite movies of all time. And this is not the special edition stuff, the original release. I'm old enough where they sold the original release, and that was the status quo until 1997 when they released the special edition, which I was not a fan of at all. So it's back in theaters. Kicking tail. Check this out. It's in less than 200 theaters. They didn't promote for the movie, and it's already made $4.7 million as of this weekend, um, which is amazing. I didn't expect for it. I mean, I expected that people would come out to see it, but they want to set it up to fail. But that's a whole nother story. I think I'd have to do a whole separate video about the problems with Star Wars and all that. So, anyway, today we are talking about Star Wars, but it has to do with a discussion about Luke Skywalker, my number one hero of all time. I named my son Luke after Luke Skywalker. Um, and the reason I wanted to point him out, guys, is because you guys know I have my health challenges with MS and everything, and all the things that I've encountered in life, which I've shared a lot of stories about here on YouTube. Um, what you guys have to realize is it all starts with Luke Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker, as well as other heroes that I have. You guys know I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. Really motivated and moved my life. But it all started with a young Luke Skywalker. That's where it started for me. Um, and I want to share the importance of his character, and not just from a film perspective, but from a life perspective and from a perspective of the hero with a thousand faces, which is the book written by Joseph Campbell. Um, a lot of you guys, well, let me break it down like this. I used to hear as a kid a lot, oh, I like Han Solo better because Luke's whiny, you know? And here's the thing, guys. Luke Skywalker is not whiny. All right. The thing about Luke, that he is a representation of a young man. Okay. You have to think Luke Skywalker is 19. He's lived on a farm. He doesn't know anything, but he has the heart and the will to be a hero and to serve. Okay. So when you see him in the first movie, you have to remember this. Would it be a whiny, unexperienced kid that would jump in the cockpit of an X-Wing knowing that he was going to a battle that he would probably die in to save the galaxy? Is it a whiny young man that faces up to his responsibilities and realizes in the blink of an eye his life has changed when his aunt and uncle are killed? And he has to go on a journey he's never done, never had experience doing, but he wants to do that. See, guys, that's why Luke Skywalker is important, because he shows us that in the heart of adversity, he always does what is right. In the heart of adversity, No matter what they threw at Luke Skywalker, he was always there to do what is right. He's always been challenged. He's a hero that can be challenged, battered, beat up, no hope, everything lost, everything destroyed. And yet he finds a way to prevail, even in the face of death. Because you guys have to remember, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker, he decides that instead of Darth Vader possibly capturing him or trying to do many things, he plunges to his death. When he falls from that weather vane setup in Cloud City, he doesn't know what's at the bottom. He just figured death is better, or hopefully a way out of here as I'm falling is better than embracing the dark side. And if that doesn't speak to you, I don't know what does. Because as a young kid, I thought that was the bravest thing, because Luke was challenged and was losing the battle. And the only way that he felt he could balance out everything was to embrace something that may kill him. That's the sign of a hero. That's the sign of facing difficulty and death and destruction and all those things. That's the sign of doing that. That's what it's really about. So Luke Skywalker, I would say, is the best representation on film of a hero that goes through things, because he's just not a hero that every movie he saves the day. Because you guys know, if you've seen Empire Strikes Back, the good guys didn't win, they lost. Right? And Luke Skywalker lost a lot. His hand, he found out, that Darth Vader may be his father. His best friend is encased in carbonite, and they gotta get him back. So he has to do a rescue mission. The Rebel Alliance is on the run. His friends have been tortured. I mean, it's not all sunshines and rainbows over there, guys. And the thing about it was, you also have to understand, as a young man without training, you have to think about yourself. When you came into the world, 19, how much did you know? Right? And you just had everything figured out at 19. Exactly my point. It is like, when people complain about that, I'm like, well, you didn't have everything figured out at 19. And how many of you would be brave enough to go into war, into battle, into a place called a Death Star that destroys planets, to rescue a princess, to fight against all odds, not knowing how it would turn out? I mean, that's some brave stuff to do that. And you have to remember, when they were in the Death Star disguised as stormtroopers, Han Solo told Luke, better her than me. Because Luke said, they're going to kill her. And he said, better her than me. He didn't care. He said, I'm waiting till the old man gets back. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. Luke had to talk him into it. And then Luke himself had to go down there and get the princess out, right? With Han and Chewie as backup. That's what you guys don't realize. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like, Luke came up with that plan. Luke came up with that idea because he knew what he had to do was the right thing to do. He had to rescue the princess. There was many things at stake. There were many things going on really fast, a lot of new things he had to learn. But when it came down to that challenge, he accepted, which moves us into, the events of Return of the Jedi. Luke goes through a journey. The first movie, he's a young man who has the heart to be a hero, but has to find out what that means. He's challenged, right? But in a way, he gets his wish. I mean, it may cost his aunt and uncle their lives, but that's the catalyst from their death and meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what shoots him into hero stardom. you know, and then he revs up slowly but surely. Now he's in the Rebel Alliance, right? He's destroyed the Death Star. He's rescued the princess. He's now Commander Skywalker by the time you get to Empire Strikes Back, and he helped establish Echo Base on Hoth. Cold place, but a good location to kind of hide out, till they figure out some things, right? So he had set that up. He doesn't get enough credit for that, and with it, he's almost killed by a wampa known as, snow creature known as a wampa. He he almost dies out from just not the wampa. He gets away from the wampa, but he's out in the cold and he survives. See, you just don't survive things like that. You have to have a strong will to live, a strong will to live in the heart of adversity. Luke had a strong will that could not be broken. And if I may briefly say, that's the problem with the new movies. The new movies, that's not Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill himself has said, that's not Luke Skywalker. That's not the character we know. I would urge all of you, because I'm old enough when the expanding universe was really kicking off, read the expanding universe, Luke. The books, the original books, okay? The original Bantam books, the 1990 era books before these movies came out. That's the real Luke Skywalker. Not only is that the real Luke Skywalker, but it's the real Princess Leia, the real Han Solo, the real Lando Calrissian, the real Chewbacca, the real Wedge Antilles, the real Admiral Akbar, the real Mon Mothma. You get the actual characters for who they really are. Those books give great detail of who these characters really are and continue on in great stories that make sense. Things that you could see them actually doing, not that nonsense in 7, 8, 9, because that's not Luke Skywalker. But anyway, Luke goes to, he has the Battle of Hoth with the AT-AT walkers and the snow speeders. And then Luke goes to a place called Dagobah, right? And in Dagobah, that's where he meets Yoda. Okay. And once he starts training with Yoda, many challenges come to Luke. Many decisions that could forever dominate his destiny are given to him. Okay? It's about decision and choices and believing in oneself. That's what that whole journey with Yoda was all about. It's about believing and learning. Okay? And guys, this is what I'm trying to say is we need to remember that as young men and young women, that we will always be challenged, much like Luke Skywalker in life. We will forever be challenged. Life will be a circle of us being challenged, going through things, heartache, death, birth, life, sadness. It will all happen. And that's what made the original trilogy so special, because it explained life to me as a kid at a very young age, where I understood things a lot better. And if you paid attention to the original Star Wars trilogy, it taught you all about that. It prepared you for life. It just wasn't, here's this science fiction adventure and this thing called a lightsaber, and yeah, this guy's saving the day. It's like, no, it was much more than that, because it was never crystal clear, or I should say crystal cut and perfect and cliche. No, it was filled with challenges. The first time we see Empire Strikes Back, you don't think the good guys are going to lose, and the movie ends that way on a cliffhanger. When you get to Return of the Jedi, you're thinking Luke's just going to slash down the Emperor and slash down Vader. No, he has to get Vader to come back to the light side of the Force, right? And in order to do that, he essentially has to sacrifice himself to the Emperor. And while he's getting dark side lightning bolted by the Emperor, he's hoping that Vader, his father, will help him, but he doesn't know if he will help him. But he has to take that risk because that's the job of a hero. The hero puts his life on the line for a chance for a brighter day to make things right. I want to ask you guys something. How many of you guys are willing to lay everything on the line for the better of humanity? How many of you are willing to lay everything on the line to fight for what you believe in? Okay? Because Luke Skywalker was prepared to do that from day one. He may have to learn this, he may have to learn that, but he was willing to learn those things for a brighter day, to get rid of the tyranny of the empire. Okay? That's what it's about. And in life, guys, comparing ourselves to that idea is when we go through life, are we really willing to fight? Do we mean what we say? Many people speak brave words, but when the actions come, people freeze, cower, and stand back. It is those that are willing to go in there at all costs, no matter if they die or anything or lose the fight. They're prepared to go through it because they know that it is worth the price for the future or for the betterment of humanity or because it is simply the right thing and the right move to do. How many people you know, including yourself, are prepared to do something like that? See, that's the thing. When we get challenged with these things in life, what do? Do we answer the call or do we hide in the corner? And I'm here to tell you, my guy Luke Skywalker never hid in the corner. And I have never hidden in the corner. I've had to fight my whole life for just being me, with situations, many situations. When I got married to my wife, like her father was not cool with that. He did not want that to happen, and I had to fight him. And I mean, I really had to fight. But long story short, I've been married 12 years, so it happened. So guess what? I had to fight. And then once I fought, you were kind of fighting for a long period of time because it was a constant thing, And to this day, we don't talk. Her parents are divorced, so I don't have to see them. But I've seen him around recently. I mean, as in like a year ago. And he's unpleasant can get. I mean, awkward feeling in the room. He doesn't say anything anymore, but you just see eyes and stuff and stare back and kind of just keep it moving the best you can. But my thing I'm trying to point out to you guys, the best things in life you have to fight for are never given to you. My marriage is the most important thing in my life. All right. Gave me our son and everything. So in order for me to achieve that and to have a good marriage and all that, I had to be willing to fight for my wife and fight for our marriage and fight for us being together, right? And I was willing to fight. And boy, did I have to fight. I had to fight a lot. I was getting hit from all different directions. But I had to do that because I knew that my wife was that important to me. So I didn't have any question about what I had to do. I didn't cower. I didn't get scared. I didn't get discouraged. Yeah, it was stressful. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, it came with some things, but I knew that it was all worth it. I would ask you guys, what is worth it for you? What are you prepared to fight for? Because if you want anything out of life, you have to be prepared to fight for it to get the results that you're looking for, to have that clarity, that understanding in life. Much like Luke Skywalker, Luke had to fight to get everything to get where he needed to be, to save the galaxy, to destroy the Emperor, to bring his father back to the light side, to help his friends, to give hope to those that had none. He had to fight. It was never handed to him. Never. Everything he had a price and a consequence, and he still stayed the course. Need I remind you guys, when he fought Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, Yoda told him not to go. He said, you could destroy everything that your friends and yourself fought, suffered, and died for. So the fate of the universe is in your hands. That's what that means, depending on what you do with it. And you know what? He may have lost the battle, but he came up on top because he was not swayed by the dark side, right? So he still came up. Like, I didn't get pulled in by the dark side. I wasn't tempted. I passed that test. Now what do I have to do? See, guys, that's Luke Skywalker. That's a real hero. That's something to admire and look up to. That's why he's important. And society's trying to tear him apart because he is that important character. He represents hope. And right now in the world, if you guys pay attention to it, not a lot of hope going around. Not a lot. And the hope that does exist, they try to tear down, and he's part of that agenda to tear down. So, guys, I would encourage all of you out there to be Luke Skywalker, to be a new hope, to be the hero we all need and want. And let it influence you to strive to be better each day, to live to each challenge, to never cower, to always fight for what you believe in, no matter what people tell you, no matter how difficult it might be, no matter how you might be challenged, you might lose this or whatever. Please stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Luke Skywalker stood for something. And because he stood for something and he believed it and he pushed hard to learn the Force, it changed the world, the galaxy. The ability for you to change the galaxy exists in all of us, but it's what you do with it. You can hide, you can be ashamed, you can be all these many things, right? But I got news, guys. Just because you close your eyes and blind yourself to it doesn't mean it's not there, because life still goes forward and things are still there. You cannot hide from truth. You cannot hide from reality. And truth is not what you choose to make it. Truth is simply that. It's the truth. If this remote here, what color is it? It's black, it's got buttons. That's the truth. We live in a society today where they say this is blue because I believe it's blue. That makes no sense, guys. Truth is truth. Reality is reality. Okay? Embrace the reality of what is and fight hard. Fight hard, give it all you got. And whatever that challenge is in your life, if you're having problems with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, death in the family, death of a friend. I just had a friend pass away. Rest in peace, Chris Brown. He was my X-Men comic book brother. He passed away this week. As I told you guys, I have a lot of friends that passed away. And it's real sad. But rest in peace, buddy. You know, through those things, through deaths and losing family members and friends and grandparents and parents and all that. I've had one parent die. My parent died. My dad died when I was 21. So, my mom's still alive and stuff. But the point is, that these things will happen and we're always going to be challenged. But what young hero of the rebellion or Jedi Knight, actually, since Luke Skywalker was both, what are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to fight for? And I want you guys to remember this: love who loves you. That sums up in a few words, in a nutshell, about the dating world and about people you should have around you, your friends included. Love who loves you. Not because they say they love you, but they walk it, talk it, show it, and speak it, and you don't have to question it. That's who you hang around. That's who you marry. That's who you date. Is the person that's there for you at all costs, at all things, that stands with you. Okay? Luke Skywalker stood with people that loved him for him. So love who loves you. Okay? Don't pick the fancy fashion model or whatever. If she's into your money, she does not love you. If she's just saying it, she does not love you or he or whatever. Guys, love who loves you and fight for what is right and what is true. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Luke Skywalker lived that, walked that, practiced that every day because he knew what was right and the importance of that. And guys, you know, the anniversary, 40 years of Return of the Jedi is here. And if you guys can, go show your love and support, because it goes deeper than just a Star Wars thing. It's a life thing. Star Wars teaches us about life. If you pay attention to it, it teaches us about life. Because where else are you going to find a farm boy, a space pirate, his first mate, a gambler, a princess, two quirky droids, and a top X-Wing pilot, and this guy that claims to be a Jedi Master, and his master, who's a strange green alien, would be the formula to save the galaxy. No other place, man. You know, that's what makes it special, is that it's all these different people from walks of life together, fighting for the common good, changing everything, and everybody had to sacrifice. Lando had to sacrifice Cloud City. It was like worth billions and billions of dollars, and it had a whole bunch of people there that needed to be protected. He had to sacrifice that, lose that, you know. Luke lost family, his hand, you know, figuring out things, you know. Han Solo had to sacrifice, but his sacrifice is a little different because it had to take him from a selfish character to a character that knew he had friends and allow him to develop and grow into a rebel hero. And in some ways similar with Princess Leia, except Princess Leia never asked for help. She had to know that she needed help and that she had friends that would help her, and there's nothing wrong with that. See the lessons you learn there? Just real quick. Look at what it shows you. You never know what's going to happen in life, but one thing is for sure, life is going to move forward. And are you prepared to battle the enemy, to stop darkness and evil at all costs and make the galaxy a better place for your family, for your friends, for people you don't even know? But everybody deserves a chance, right? Everybody deserves a chance to be free, to live right, right? So, guys, I want to leave you guys with this thought: do what is right, and may the force be with you. Okay? And we all need to stand like Luke did in Return of the Jedi when the Emperor's trying to tempt him and says, "Take your father's place at my side." And he says, Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me. Let's all stand and look at those things, those adversities, those challenges, and say, let's go. Because that's what that means. So, Luke Skywalker is the archetype of the ultimate hero. And always keep that with you as you go through this week. And I'll be back. Drew Danger, out. I love you guys. Hang in there. Shoot me some emails. Let me know what you guys want to see. I love hearing from you guys. And remember, the Force will be with you always.